Yep, you can pop them on. You don't have to put the headphones on.
It's better.
I have to have the full experience,
The full
guys.
core podcast
Yeah,
experience.
then you can hear us in your head.
Oh, yes, you're in my head completely now.
I hear you guys in my head already.
Is that because you hang out with him too much?
Maybe.
Yeah. Or do we not hang out enough?
Probably not enough, honestly. I wish I hung out with you guys more.
But it could also be that when you're doing something good, they're in your head telling you not to do it.
Maybe.
It's got like very, what's the word?
Psychological.
That's the one.
Yeah.
You know, my head is still a bit floaty.
I wanted to say philosophy, but I knew it wasn't right.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if you walked past what we did. We did a bunch of really hot sauces.
No, I didn't.
So,
did you guys
We all
manage to
survived.
survive?
We all survived except for one. He's MIA.
Oh dear.
I was telling Matt that you, like wearing a Charizard shirt, you should have wore something that was strong against fire type.
No,
Would've
that
helped you
gave
with
him
the
more
spicy.
strength.
No, because it's on the back. It says Team Fire.
Okay.
Right. It gave him more strength.
Yes, I would say I was the brightest star in the room, but you were also.
What did you think to Kirby's outfit for main stage?
I thought it was brilliant.
Right.
Absolutely brilliant.
And nothing screams Maker like Pokemon.
Oh, no.
No, you are right with that.
Now, if he had actually gone up and attached like a Pokemon ball onto that, it'd be really cool. Or, printed it in red and white.
But that was our first soundboard that we built for the podcast.
That's really cool.
Then we got this because this allows us to play all sorts of stuff.
He's got more technology now.
It's fancy.
Like,
we moved up.
I can change the vibe.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, and you can enjoy it.
Okay.
You know, I actually hate this jazz music because you play it that much.
I know, I love it.
But it's a good
It is.
sound.
It's nice background music.
Subtle.
Subtle.
It's good there for the background. I feel like it adds class to what we do.
Yes.
Someone needs
So
to.
we should have had this going in the background.
It adds something.
Anything.
I have to thank Kirby because he was the elegant gentleman this morning. Because I was so afraid I was going to trip and fall and land on my face going up on the stage. And he was just so kind and gave me his arm like the perfect gentleman he is and helped me up the stage.
It's okay because I needed that just as much as you do. I've got a history with stages.
Kirby's not normally allowed on stages.
He's not.
Here.
Oh.
I heard a lot of rumblings on like how did they let him back up there?
His first 3D experience, SolidWorks World, he just stepped off a stage and broke his ankle.
I didn't step off. I jumped off it and I broke my ankle.
It was a stage like that, wasn't it?
Yeah. First day, SolidWorks invited me out, and then I had to chill in the hospital with one of them without travel insurance. They got me a little scooter. It was great. And since then, I wasn't allowed on stages. They weren't allowed to have stages at the evening events, and yeah. And I still have people. It's like, oh, you're the guy that broke his leg. I'm like, yes, because I did it at the CSWE party.
Oh, wow.
And everybody was watching.
Yeah.
Dear. No, I've done that when I walked up the stairs and I was getting some kind of award. It wasn't a big deal, but the entire conference, there's about, 400 or 500 people, and I tripped and went and just kind of slid onto the stage.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
So yeah, no, I don't. I don't want to do that again.
Yeah,
so I was very grateful that you helped me up and helped me down.
Well, I mean, Mike Puckett, he does the certification stuff last year, just before World, I think it was 2-3 weeks. He was getting out of a little small aircraft. You had to slide down the wing, and he slipped off and broke his hip.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, the older we get, the less we bounce. It's more of that, ooh.
Crunch.
Yeah, that didn't sound good.
Yeah.
Was that right? I think I'm okay. No, I'm not okay.
Yeah, but you teach kids SolidWorks.
Yeah, I do.
That must be exciting. I'd love to know the kind of things they come up with.
Well, the 8th graders, we're on a very stringent mechanical engineering, parts for the CSWA. So it's really mechanical driven. But my 6th and 7th graders, I kind of ease them in and give them little like tease spoiler kind of things, kind of say, ooh, look what we can do. But this year at Christmas, I decided, they need to make snowflakes. And I said, okay, they're all going to learn how to make snowflakes. So I taught them, had them open up SolidWorks. Some of them have never opened it up before.
Yeah.
And I walked them through creating just a simple little stick figure shape for the first piece. I said, okay, we're going to do something called thin feature. So I had them do a thin feature extrude of this little piece. And then I said, okay, now we're going to do circular pattern. And next thing you know, about 30 minutes in, we had made a snowflake. And then I made a video, of course, and all the other kids were watching it. Next thing I know, I've got every kid in my classroom coming in, accessing the little video tutorial I created. And they're all making snowflakes. Well, my poor 3D printer had a heart attack. One of them broke, the sensor broke, so I couldn't get the bed it would not stay aligned because the sensor wasn't working right. And I fought with it. You know what it's like to fight with a printer?
Oh my
It's
goodness.
like you get so aggravated because it's supposed to work and then it doesn't work. So, yes, I was printing snowflakes like crazy. And of course, I'm in Florida, it's not known for snow, but we did have a really, really, really brutal cold snap for Florida. It was really bad because it was low 30s, and so the kids are making the snowflakes, but it was just so funny, because did you print my snowflake yet? Nope, I haven't got to it yet because I had 2 printers down.
Yeah.
So I'm like trying to print all these snowflakes with limited number of printers. And so, yeah, but that's one of the cool things. But I had another student who said, I don't want to do a snowflake. I said, well, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
He says, I want to do something for my mom. I said, okay. I said, when you get done with it, let me see what you got. He did Patrick from SpongeBob SquarePants. He did Patrick holding a star to give to his mother for
That's
an
great.
ornament for his Christmas tree. And he did it with 3D Experience X-Shape. He used
Yes.
X-Shape to make Patrick and the little star.
That's awesome.
And he asked me about doing something to put a hole in his head to hang it. And I'm like, I don't want to put a hole in Patrick's head. I don't think that would be
It's
right.
not
I
right,
think
no.
we could we'll figure out a different way to attach so he can hang from the tree. But he did that one and I was just like, okay, that's cool. So then I had other kids coming up. Well, can I make this? I want to make this little mini me thing. I'm like, sure, go ahead. And it was like the week before Christmas break. So the kids had already done everything. So any kid who was ahead and had all of their work done, it was like, go for it.
That's
Make
great.
what you want. And I mean, I've seen kids do all kinds of crazy things. A few years ago, they had a challenge where I told them they had to create an electronic device holder. And I had a kid that did SpongeBob SquarePants and he was laying down and the phone holder literally was held by his feet. So it's like, looked like SpongeBob was laying down. I had kids make them that looked like dinosaurs, pieces of toast to hold their phone. And just really weird.
Yep.
But I don't tell them what to create. I just give them, this is what it has to
project.
do. Yeah, it's their engineering challenge. This is what it has to do. It has to be done in this cube size and it has to print in less than 2.5 hours. If it's more than 2.5 hours, then you have to figure out how to reduce the printing time.
Yep.
And trust me, that 2.5 hour thing really frustrates them because they think that 3D printing is instantaneous.
No, it's
And
not.
then when they realize that, this little object that's like this big is going to take them 3 hours to print because of the way they designed it, then it's all of a sudden, okay, how do I fix this? How do I
Yep.
How do I change it? So yeah, I think the cool thing about when you give them the opportunity to be creative,
You're giving them kind of freedom to let the imagination run wild,
Right.
but at the same time solving a challenge, which means
Right.
they can't. They're limited.
Right.
But if they can figure out a good solution,
Mhm.
they can still be creative with that.
Right. And I think that helps. And I think when I give that creativity experience to my kids in the 6th grade and 7th grade, so when they come to see me as 8th graders and have to actually really, really learn how to manipulate and work the software and understand the concepts and put those concepts into use, they've had that chance to be free and have fun. And now they're seeing, oh, I could be free and have fun. And if I had known all of these things, I could have done so much more.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to kind of, as I tell them, I don't know what I'm doing, Miss Hamilton. This makes no sense. And I'm like, it's okay. I'm throwing you in the deep end. I'm just, if you sink, you're not going to sink. I'm not going to let you sink, but I'm not giving you any information. I want to see how you're going to attack it with limited information, with limited knowledge on what you're doing. Just, I always found the best way to learn is to literally, fail half a dozen times.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, oh, I wasn't supposed to do it that way.
Yeah.
Okay, now I know what I'm not supposed to do. How am I supposed to do it?
I mean, it's better to don't look at it as a failure, look at it as a lesson.
Mhm. Yeah.
And, you can learn a lot from, not succeeding. And,
I mean, I tell the kids if it was easy and you got it right away, then you didn't learn a lesson. All you know is that it's easy. So the next time you do it and you hit that wall, you're going to walk away from it because, well, why didn't I have this great luck the last time? This time it's not working. I'm frustrated.
Yeah.
I'm done with it. I'm going to walk away with it. And I think we all have that moment where we hit that. How far can I go? I was talking to you the other day because I was talking about my modeling and how I was doing my stuff for Model Mania. I can't get it out of my mouth. And I could not for the life of me get it to work. And I finally just said, you know what? Does it really need it? Nope. Okay. I'm just going to let it go. After, fighting with it for like 6 hours, not 6 hours total, but, over the course of time. Sometimes you do have to know how to walk away from something that's frustrating you. And then maybe later on when you have more time or skill that you can go back and look at it in a different perspective. And so, when I get back, I might be able to sit down and say, okay, what was I doing wrong now that I don't have any pressure on me, now that I don't have a time limit on me? How can I fix it?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes taking a little break away, you can come up with the better solution.
Yeah.
Have you seen a Magic Wheelchair out there?
I love Magic Wheelchair. They're just amazing, aren't they?
So Johnny and I do Magic Wheelchair builds.
Oh, wow.
That's actually how I met them.
Yeah. We worked on a Magic Wheelchair build that was revealed here in 2020.
Oh, I saw that one.
The speed bike.
Yes, that was wonderful.
And then since then, Johnny and I have done
2 more.
Yeah.
2 more.
Two more.
Wow.
1.5.
Yeah, 1.5. We're still busy with the one.
With the other one, yeah.
But
the most rewarding things.
That must take an amazing amount of time, but also a lot of love and energy goes into that.
It does take a lot of time. So we always, we always like mess up our schedule and end up having like 2 weeks to do it.
No, we don't mess up the schedule. The schedule is like 5 weeks normally because it's like, oh, we need this done for this release or, this convention. So you're like, right, we'll have to do it. So it's a lot of long weekends and sleepless evenings.
I feel like it's just kind of in that realm of things that just always ends up having to be done fast. So it's really hard to plan that far ahead.
I think we as nature naturally will procrastinate and put something off. Oh, this fire is burning. I'm like, okay, I got to put this fire out, and I know this is due, but it's not due for another 3 weeks. So I got to deal with this first. And then next thing you know, what you put off because that fire was going, now you've got another one. And I think we all do that. I see students with it that do it. You know, I think we all, in our own way, you know, prioritize things, and sometimes we forget.
Yeah.
Okay, if we just carved out this much, and it's a hard thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, someone that's in the chat is saying that when teaching children, it's best to compliment their hard work and ability to solve a problem rather than saying like you're really talented or good at that. Or you're a natural.
Yeah, I always tell my students, one of the big things I do, I always tell them, and they'll be, you know, I can't do this. I don't get it. I'm not going to be able to do it. This is horrible. I can't do it. And I look at them. I said, you can't do it yet. You don't have the skills and the knowledge and how to manipulate the tools yet. But I have faith, and I know that if you give it time and I work with you, you will get there. So I always feel, especially with middle school kids, you have to constantly tell them, you know, you might not know it, but that's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay not to, but you also can't give up, because the minute you give up, you'll never know if you could have. So you always have to remind them that. And I always say, you can't yet.
That's a really good way to look at it.
Because you're saying here that if you say you're naturally great, then when faced with a challenge, they're more likely to quit versus great job figuring it out, who keep pressing through the problem. Yeah.
I have kids that are actual like really naturals at it. I mean, they run circles around me. I mean, I show them 2 things, and the next thing I know, I look and I'm like, how did you do that? I've been doing this for like 12 years. How did you do that? And then I reward that kid by saying, how did you do that? And show me. And then all of a sudden, that naturally talented kid, it wasn't, you know, you're not going to face that challenge. That naturally talented kid is saying, wow, I'm teaching the teacher something.
Yeah.
But then the next time that kid gets stuck, they'll go, I can't figure it out. And well, you helped me. Now let me show you a few tricks that I know that you don't. And then that gives me that opening. But you have to give them praise. You have to tell them, you know, that they're doing a great job. You have to shore them up when they feel like they can't. But I think I have the success I have with the kids I have is because they never see me doubt their ability to.
Which is great. Like you, and especially there'll be some of those kids that will be out in industry and will be looking back at you and the opportunities that you gave them.
Yeah.
I mean, like someone else said, they had a music teacher that always said to say, this is challenging instead of you can't do it.
Yeah. I get mad. I tell when they say I can't do this, I just look at them and say, that word does not exist in this room. You can. It's just going to take you longer.
Yes.
And I think you see kids that they throw in the towel too soon. And then I'll also see that same kid who will spend 20 hours on a video game trying to get to the next level and beat the big boss.
Yeah.
But he'll only spend, 15 minutes on the problem. So sometimes you have to pivot and you have to look at how that kid is seeing the world.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of, and as I said, I think I told you, if you teach middle school kids, you kind of have to be a little bit crazy yourself because they're a little crazy. They're a little crazy anyways. And if, you're in Europe, middle school is grade ages 10 through 3. Like late 10, 11, 13, 10, 11, 12, 13, somewhere in that range.
Yep. And
you all know that's the age where everything is starting to change. They're trying to figure out who they are. What group do I belong with? 6th grade girls are still yucky. Halfway through 6th grade, that's not too bad. And, it's like, I know that spring is in the air around my school because I have a young gentleman, and he's a great kid. He's sweet, kind, loving. I love the kid to death. And the last 2 weeks, he's come in so drenched in body Axe spray that I literally, good thing. Yeah, definitely. Oh my gosh. But he literally sits in one corner of the room, and I have this huge cavernous room. My room is monstrous. And there's a young girl that sits next to him, and he was out that day, and I said, sweetheart, I said, if it gets too potent around him, if you just pick your stuff up and move to the other side of the classroom, I'm not going to say a word, because she's a really really shy, quiet, timid kid. She would never even complain. So I knew if I told her it was okay for her to move, that she would. But every time he asks me for help now, I have to go over to the farthest corner of the room, take a big breath of air, walk to his desk, listen to what he has to say, holding my breath, explain to him what he needs to do. And then as soon as I can't breathe anymore and need a breath of air, I have to say, okay, I'll be back. And I leave and go help somebody else, and then go back to him because I can't. And this is some of the challenges of being in a classroom with kids. I mean, in our country with the Safe Schools initiatives, keep all the bad stuff from happening.
Yeah.
We can't open our windows. We can't open the doors. So I am in a circulated air system with Axe body spray that is like so strong that, I mean, I can smell it in the back room in the wood shop. It's literally overpowering the sawdust smell. So, but I know it must be he's got a new girlfriend or he likes somebody, because this has not been what it's been like for the last, 5 months. He's been this quiet kid and now all of a sudden it's like.
He just saw that one Axe body spray commercial and was like, that's what I want.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
I swear. And middle school boys, and I swear that they pour it, they're just more and more. It's like, I don't smell it. And I'm like, trust me, darling.
It's there.
We can smell it. We know it's there.
How long have you been teaching?
I've been teaching at my current school for 24 years. I opened that school. Before that, I taught there was about 5 more years before that. But back in the early 80s, there was a push in the United States that all students need to go to college. And at that point, they started canceling career technical classes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And well, when you're a new teacher starting out in that field, you can't keep your foot in the door because they keep cutting the program. You keep closing programs. So I finally got tired of it. And I said, okay, that's it. And I went into industry. I went into the printing industry and actually worked with printing presses and actually worked in binderies and did that. And I did it for 8 years. And I just, it was great. And it's kind of strange that I went back into education. And at the same time I was going back into education, that printed media and printing fields, there's less and less things being printed.
Yep.
So that section of industry was declining. There was less jobs in that industry. So I kind of pivoted out of that industry, and then I pivoted back into tech ed and engineering classes. And when I pivoted back in, the people said to me, where have you been? Under a rock? There's been a critical shortage for your teacher area for the last 6 years. And I guess I was under a rock because for me, I had walked away from education because education kept walking away from me.
I mean, have you seen the printing museum across the road?
Yes. Isn't it cool?
We haven't done the tour and that, but you can go to the one side and you see them busy printing. Like it's all traditional, like music posters, but using like stamp pressing and that.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
I have.
It's all mechanical, like it's all like old machinery.
Yeah.
It's all mechanical.
Yeah, because again, the old stuff still works. I mean, lithographic and all of that stuff is just amazing. The technology and how it works, Sorry.
Oh, all good.
No worries.
But yeah, it's kind of, I have these, how do I put it? I have a lot of things that like I'm a geek about. Bridges. Oh my gosh, I love bridges. You're laughing. Somebody else here is a bridge geek.
No, we've been talking about bridges on our last 2 episodes. Like,
are you kidding me?
wow!
Wow.
We don't know where it started, but this must have.
You were just talking
been
about our favorite
foreshadowing.
bridges and
That's
kind of how
weird.
interesting bridges are.
Well,
They're cool.
Like there's some cool bridges down that way.
oh yeah. I want to see the millennial. Is it the Millennium Footbridge in London? The one that looks like the eye.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I talk about that bridge with my kids. I said, when it opens,
I crossed it
looks
the other day.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Because I live in London, so,
Yeah, I know.
so I can go see all the cool bridges.
Yeah, and you have some amazing bridges.
Well, I mean, it was funny when they released that they had to shut it down because it wasn't strong enough to carry the amount of.
No, it was like flexing and twisting.
That's funny.
See, now I didn't know about that. That is so cool. That's another added piece of information when I talk about bridge history and stuff to my kids. I can sprinkle that in and I can tell them it came from a true Londoner. This is actual information.
We have a bridge in Calgary, Alberta. It's called the Peace Bridge, and it's like this red, like crisscross, crazy.
Oh yes,
bridge.
we were looking at pictures of it the other
And
day.
it's very popular. Like it's one of the sites for people to see when you go to Calgary.
So where I live like just on the border of London.
Mhm.
So outside of the east side of London, the last bridge is Tower Bridge.
Okay.
Then all the way to the sea, there's one other bridge, and it's the Dartford Crossing or Queen Elizabeth Bridge,
Okay.
which is a very tall suspension bridge. And yeah, I can see that from my backyard bar.
Oh wow, that
And
sounds
like
cool.
my wife's like, it's just a bridge. I'm like, it's a really cool bridge.
Bridges are just this amazing piece of technology and engineering. It's especially the ones that were built, like the earlier ones
Older
that were
bridges,
built
yeah.
with like none of the safety regulations, and they didn't have a lot of the big equipment. I mean, the Brooklyn Bridge, I mean, the amount of people who died building that bridge and developing the caissons and to get down the water to put the towers down. And you look at that and you say, wow. And I'll say to my kids, I says, you realize, look at these people who are working on this. There's no hard hats, there's no safety rigging, there's no nets, nothing. If they fall, oh well. But I think we look at things and you have to imagine what was the thought when they were creating it? How did they get to that point? What inspired them to do it? And I think now we're getting more technologies and you see all of these bridges that are coming out now and the crazy stuff that they're doing. There's one in Thailand. Have you seen it? I don't know the name of it. It literally is a hand holding the bridge, and the bridge is in the fingers.
Yeah.
Runs in the fingers. I cannot think of the name of it. But the kids are like, that's a cool bridge.
I mean, like Tower Bridge is really, really cool. I've
Yeah.
done the tour, and they've now got on the bridges across.
Mm-hmm.
The bridges on the bridge
Yeah.
have like a glass floor, so you can look down and that.
That's cool.
But it's just one of those bridges that just has an interesting architecture to it.
What
Yeah.
boggles my mind is like they did it all with like hand drawings and like just meticulous planning. There was no no one had a full picture of the bridge. Like there was a plan ish.
There's no 3D.
Yeah, there's no like 3D. It's not like you can, if someone looks at this drawing, like a technical drawing, like someone who's not into technical drawings, they have no idea what they're looking at.
Like, this is why like they should still be teaching technical drawing, because
yeah,
being able to look at drawings.
Did you go to my session? You weren't at my session.
No.
Guess what the number one thing I told the people in my session was?
Learn
You
drawing.
have to
Learn how
teach
to
the
do it by
basics.
hand.
You have to teach them what is an orthographic drawing, what is isometric. You need to teach them what line types are.
Because I
if
learned,
you don't know.
I learned tradition. The school that I went to,
Mhm.
it was a very academic school, so there wasn't a lot of like avenues to explore like design or being creative. So I went to community college outside of school every second evening, I think it was, to go and learn technical drawing. And I remember like doing the drawings and like understanding how to do the drawing, but not like seeing the 3D objects and that. And then I remember it was just suddenly it clicked and snapped. I was like, this makes all the sense now. And then when I started learning about 3D CAD, that's suddenly when like all that knowledge that I've learned, even though that I've never done technical drawings since like 2009 when I went to those classes.
Yeah,
I understand that.
It clicks.
One of the first courses I took for engineering was like a drawing course, and it was like really dry at the start, but like it really built the fundamentals of understanding CAD and drawings and stuff like that.
My kids will get mad at me when I'm hammering on that stuff, but I'm like, when you have to look at the drawings, the blueprints, they're not three-dimensional. The information that you need is not shown to you three-dimensional.
No.
You have to take that flat two-dimensional and turn it into that three-dimensional. And the thing is the perfect thing. Visual spatial relationships. Some people have that. Some people have
can
it.
picture it, can't they? And some can't.
Right. And that's not everyone can do it. Okay. And if you can have visual spatial relationship, you can look at something and revolve it in your head and you can see it. You can unfold it and lay it flat and fold it back up all in your head. I mean, I have that, which is kind of cool, but a lot of people don't. And I think when I'm teaching kids, I can always tell the ones that have that because it's easier for them.
Yeah, they pick it up really quick.
Right, because they can
see
see it and they can picture it and twist it.
I guess with the kids that don't see that, you've got to approach the lesson in a different angle.
Well, you have to teach them how to identify when they look at that. You have to teach them how to identify it. I do a lot of that. I give them literally an isometric, and I tell them, okay, I want you to color, the front view, and I want you to color, the three views, different colors. And now I want you to draw what it would look like if it was flat. The red side, what does it look like when it's flat? So then it's like, okay. And my high school drafting teacher used to say, you just have to imagine that you're a bird and you're flying over it and you're looking directly down like a bird would look at it.
Yep.
You're not seeing anything else but what that bird is seeing. They're not seeing the stuff on the sides. They're only seeing directly down at it. And I'll find myself to this day saying to a kid, I says, look at it dead on. It's coming straight at your face. Or if it's the top of you, you're a bird flying over it. It's literally right underneath you.
Yeah.
You're not going to see all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it starts to click, but it takes time.
Yeah.
And not let them be frustrated.
No, but it's cool. Like really, it's the outlook that you have of educating kids is insane.
Yeah, considering they haven't driven me completely around the bend yet, we're good. We're good. So, guys, thank you so much.
No, you're more than welcome.
I'm not going to lie, but this is one of the most interesting conversations we've had
Aww,
this week.
Thank you.
And how do we keep spinning around to bridges? It's fantastic. I'm loving it.
I've been looking up a bridge, the one you're on about with the hands. So
the hands?
Todd in the chat, the Golden Bridge in Vietnam.
Yeah.
I just had a Google. It's amazing.
It's an amazing bridge.
Yeah.
There are some really wild bridges out there right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely wild bridges. The Akashi Bridge in Japan, the world's largest. Do you know that it gained an additional 3 feet?
Really?
Yeah. It was they designed it. You remember, it's on one of the most titanic faults for most earthquakes around. And during the final end of the construction, they had, I can't remember what level earthquake, but I mean, it took out tons of buildings. And after the earthquake, the bridge was still standing, but it had stretched. It was actually longer. And I think it was gained. I think it was 3 feet it gained. after the hurricane, and there was no damage or anything else. I mean, in that bridge, the technical advantages and stuff that they've done on that bridge, the scale model building and wind tunnel testing they did for that bridge is insane.
I mean, I think I watched a documentary on the way that they built it.
Yeah, there's a great documentary. It's about an hour and 45 minutes.
I think they brought all like the sections by boats and then lifted them up.
Yeah, they did. There were tons of stuff they did. And to test it, they have these baffles to keep it steady. And to test it, they had like all of these guys on the bridge literally pushing it on the thing to make sure that it's all in this video, this documentary. I've shown it to the kids and we've talked about it in the kids. But again, just there's so much cool stuff out there. And I think we just ignore it sometimes. It just becomes all this noise, you know. But if you find something you're passionate about, and then you become this little geek on it. It's like bridges, towers, you know, I'm just like, you know,
awesome.
old equipment, old tools, you know, and I look and I'm like, wow, this is how they used to do this. So, but yeah, it's been great. I'm telling you, we have got to do this again. I know that you're on a totally different time frame.
Oh, we make it work. We've had Australia, America.
Yeah, usually when we podcast back at home, we usually do it like 8 o'clock in the evening. Yeah. Which would be like 2 o'clock in Central.
Yeah. Which would be 3 o'clock. Yeah, 3 o'clock for me because I'm East Coast.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah, but I would think we'd love to do something again. I'd be really cool.
Definitely.
Come up with some kind of concept, and you know, I definitely would definitely do it again. Awesome. And I mean, I am so thrilled that I got to meet you guys. I got to share the stage with Kirby. I mean, this has been probably the best world I have been to. I have gotten to do so many cool things and meet some amazing people.
Yeah, definitely. I think every year we come back, it tops itself with the people, if nothing else.
Definitely.
The people are what make it, in my opinion. I love meeting new people.
People it's essential. I think the worst thing when we were virtual was I missed the people.
It was also hard to have,
Jonny and I did this during the virtual.
See, I didn't know about you then, and if I did, trust me.
And literally, the way we created it was exactly what we're doing now. The fact that anybody can come and sit down with us. We had an open Zoom meeting that was also live streamed. So you could sit in the chat, you could watch it back later, and everybody was able to hang out together. And then last year when they canceled Nashville, we became like the unofficial staff room for Dassault because everybody was just hanging out. And we actually had someone that booked his trip to Atlanta. Yeah. And it got cancelled, but he didn't cancel his trip. And he gave us a virtual tour of the conference center that we were supposed to go to. And that was being shared around all over the place.
Do you realize how huge that place is? I do Skills USA, which is a career service organization. And I took my kids to the National Skills USA conference there last year. Oh my God. I thought I was going to die walking around that place. It is huge. Yeah. Monster. And we filled out the whole building. I mean, it's like 5 football fields. It's monstrous. Plus the subway and, the metro or whatever, the MATA is what they call it. But yeah, we've had a great time.
So I want to ask if you would like to donate money to Magic Wheelchair.
Yes, I will donate money to Magic Wheelchair.
I'll give you the QR code because basically we're raising money for Magic Wheelchair.
You're raising money for the Magic Wheelchair? Yeah,
last year we got just over $2,000 for Magic Wheelchair. Currently we're sitting on $1,700.
Oh, why is it not going there? Come on now. Oh, I love it when technology will not work.
I think you got to close the camera and then open it again.
No, I got it. Ta-da!
So yeah. If we get to $2,000, we're gonna do this one chip challenge, so more hot stuff. But one of our friends, Brad Media, has been harvesting a beard for like 12 years. He said we're gonna try and get ourselves to 5,000. He's gonna shave it off here at World.
Are you kidding?
No.
Oh no!
He's good for it as well. He wants it, so we're really pushing this.
Yeah, Manish is really pushing us. Yeah. Manish wants it. I don't know who wants it more. I don't know who wants it more, us or Manish.
Manish wants it.
So we were at the Cad Monkey dinner on Saturday, and Manish
We told him
We
about
told
it.
him about it. He goes up to Brad, took a selfie with him and said, I want one before and one after.
Oh,
That's amazing.
So,
we had somebody that just at our county did, they had a challenge like that to raise money for the United Way. And they literally raised like, I think it was like $2,000. And 3 of them had to shave their beards. And one of the guys, I couldn't believe that he did it because I've known him for, I don't know, at least 10 years. And the entire time I've known him, I have never seen him without a beard, ever. And I mean, it's long, like long. And he
It's
he
to say
cut it
Brad's
off.
done. Yeah, he said his kids have never seen him without a beard.
That's funny because my dad was a commercial fisherman at one point in his illustrious history of companies, businesses, and everything else he owns. And he literally decided to shave his beard. And my youngest sister had never seen him without a beard, ever. I didn't really remember him without a beard. And he came into the house and scared the bejesus out of my sister because who is this strange man? And I said, Dad, is that you?
Like,
he's like, yeah.
Brad was telling us last time he shaved, someone called the police on him because they thought someone was stealing his bike.
That's amazing.
Really?
Yep. I shaved when I was in university, and I didn't tell Nicole I was going to shave, but I shaved to take some, like, I wanted to be clean shaven for my pictures, but I had had a beard for like 2 years, and so Nicole was very used to it, and we walked by each other in the hallway, and she didn't recognize me at all.
The thing with my dad, though, because it had been so long, like this whole part of his face was like stock white. I mean, because it had gotten, you think about it,
no sun, yeah.
no sun.
Yeah.
I mean, so you literally have, so for the gentleman, when he does shave his beard, because I have a feeling that you are going to get to that goal for him to shave his beard, I would strongly suggest that the beautiful women in the makeup and hair and makeup
Touch the bottom in.
that fill in that bottom half so he doesn't look like some kind of crazy person. Because it's got to, and then make sure you give him sunscreen so he can liberally apply sunscreen on this new clean skin that now is going to get sunburnt because it's losing all of its protection.
Yeah. He was saying that he's just gonna have a white chin and he's gonna have to put sunscreen on it.
Yeah.
I'm actually intrigued to see what his chin's like. Do you know what I mean? Like when someone's got
Like
such
how
a big
many
beard.
there?
Like,
Yeah, so it's like my chin is very round and like that's
why
what
you
I like
have the
about the
beard.
beard is that it makes my chin look sharper.
pointy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my chin is kind of just flat and round.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
keep mine, so it just disguises my other chins.
No, my
They all
boyfriend,
blend
he's
into
got,
one.
he's got a big round, face. And, for a long time, it was just the goatee and a little, and then he decided to go with the beard. And God, I don't know how long it's been now. He's had this beard and he's, and of course he got really vain at some point because then you have to dye my beard because he didn't like all the gray. And, so of course, what are you going to do? He says, can you please? And I'm like, sure, honey, I'll help you dye your beard. And then he's just decided he wasn't going to be vain. And here, I'll show you. He decided to, he said, I'm going to just rock the grandfather beard and I'm going to be happy about it. And so that's my man and his rocking beard. And he finally gave up. He finally gave up.
That's a good looking beard.
And yeah, it's a great beard, isn't it?
That's sort of Brad's beard length. No,
Yeah.
I think Brad's maybe got a little bit, slightly longer.
Yeah. Brad's is
But-
longer.
And I painted that.
Yeah, nice.
That was his birthday present. I painted that painting for him.
Oh, that's awesome.
classic cars, muscle cars, dragsters. That's another geeky thing that I have in my wheelhouse. But really, guys, good luck on raising all that money for the magic wheelchair.
For your badge.
Thank you. It could not be a better thing than doing something great for people in wheelchairs.
Yes.
My boyfriend's a quad. He's in a chair. He's been in a chair for 49 years. He'll celebrate his 50th year in a chair in June. He was in an accident a week out of high school, after graduating high school. He was 17 years old, and everything changed.
Yeah.
And people who do things for people in chairs and do all that kind of stuff, it's important because they are just like everybody else. But most of the time, they only see the chair. They don't see the individual. They don't see the person. They don't understand.
Yeah.
So that's so cool. So again, guys, thank you so much.
Did you notice?
What?
Our badge flare is the same size as the Model Mania one.
Oh, nice.
See,
so we're always commenting how they're always different lengths.
They're always different sizes.
Yeah.
No, I always say ours is the correct size.
Right.
It fits the badge properly.
Right. Yeah,
See?
I had to put this one over here because it was way too big. It's like, really?
Everyone just wants to have the bigger badge.
I just don't have the long tails,
They get in the way eventually.
I don't collect them. I did 1 year. And
there was one time where I really collected them. I was like gung ho for them.
Yeah.
My first year, I collected them really hard. But
yeah. No, see, this isn't like Skills USA, but I think it would be really cool. All of the career organizations, every state creates their own lapel pin, and people exchange pins. And they trade pins. Now, wouldn't that be cool if we all kind of designed some kind of pin, and everybody would like geekily run around saying, "Oh, what kind of pin did you design it? Oh, what did you 3D print this, or did you mill this, or what software did you, what platform did you use to create it?" All right, guys, I'm gonna roll. I am going to see the Grand Ole Opry tonight. I'm gonna get to see some country music and enjoy and have a great night.
Nice.
Yeah, I've always wanted to do it, and there were tickets available, which is really unheard of, and I was able to snag them, so that's what I'm doing.
Awesome.
So thank you again. I hope to see you before this all wraps up and gets done.
I'm going to be right here.
Really? Are they bringing in, food and everything else for you?
No, we'll go.
You just have a little. We have a wander occasionally.
Really?
Yeah.
You let them out on occasion?
Occasionally.
Yeah.
Okay.
He is technically an adult, but
Yeah. With loads of Lego.
yeah.
Hey, Lego's okay.
Lego's
Legos
cool.
are
I
cool.
approve.
Check out Infento.
Infenta.
INFENTO.
Ooh.
I bought a set of those for my students.
What is it?
Oh, there's a big reveal. Oh, it's like a
Aluminium
like a
extrusion.
little motor vehicle.
Yeah, and it's a kit, and then you can build all these different things
From the
it.
same parts.
And it's made by a company in the Netherlands, so the directions just look just like Lego directions,
That's
exactly like Lego directions. It's really cool. It's a pretty cool thing, and people are going on to SolidWorks and they're making parts and they're 3D printing and attaching it to them. There's all kinds of 3D print STL files on Thingiverse and stuff for those. It's really cool.
Nice.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Perfect. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. It's been an absolute pleasure.